Today we get to hear from Loraine in the UK. She is a recent graduate of our Harp Beginnings program and is looking for some feedback on her playing to make sure no bad habits have crept in. So let's take a look.
So this is my attempt at The Water is Wide and Mahogany Moon. Basically, I just want you to see around the hand positioning, because I know my fingers can be a bit and the thumb, and just any little bad technique things that you can see, little bad habits that are creeping in. So anything that you can spot and feedback on would be perfect. Thank you.
Well done, Loraine. Your playing is already sounding so lovely. I'm seeing a lot of great things. Your hand position looks beautiful. You're doing a great job with placing securely on the strings, the lifting. So I have some tips to help you refine your playing, but it's great that you have a strong foundation that we can build on. So here are a few things you can try that will help with your comfort while you're playing, as well as help you have an even stronger sound. So the first thing I noticed is that your harp is leaning pretty far back on your shoulder. What I would suggest is sitting on like the middle edge of your seat. That's gonna position your feet to be firmly planted flat on the ground, which will really just help support the rest of your body as you're playing. So that's gonna help your harp be more balanced overall. It'll also help support your posture so that you can play more confidently and project your sound more. And if you maybe have a sensitive back, you could try placing like a pillow or a cushion between your back and the chair. Just make sure you're sitting with the chair with the backing, and that will offer some extra support. So Loraine, the next thing I wanted to mention is to play even louder. You're playing so beautifully, but I'd love to hear more volume from you. I also realized from your video, it maybe looks like it's nighttime, so it could be that in this video you sent in, you're just trying to keep it down so you don't wake any family members or neighbors. But right now your sound is a bit soft, and I know you have the potential to really fill the space with your sound. So what I want you to do is to try pressing into the string a little bit more. I'll demonstrate with The Water is Wide, which is the first piece that Loraine played. So I want you to press the strings enough that you can actually see them moving. Do you see that? So that's what we want there. And you can try pressing with more of the squishy part of your finger. That'll give you better control and overall a stronger tone. And the more you really press into the strings, the more you're actually building up that finger strength as you're playing, which is of course a great benefit as you continue on your harp journey. It might feel a little bit out of your comfort zone to play louder if you're used to playing softer, but I would really encourage you to go for it, and I think you'll be amazed at the beautiful sound and the stronger tone that you get when you do that. So this actually leads into my next tip, is to make sure that you are closing fully back into your palm. And the thing is, when you start pressing more onto the strings, it actually becomes more natural for you to close your fingers fully. So what I was seeing as you were playing, Loraine, is that your fingers were kind of going halfway back into the palm. I'm just gonna demonstrate what I saw when you were playing Mahogany Moon, because I think you were kind of thinking ahead to what was coming next, but make sure to really finish out that movement after you pluck. So when you press into the strings, it almost launches your fingers back into your palm. That actually becomes more of a natural movement rather than sometimes, we talk a lot about closing back, and maybe that feels kind of forced when you do that, but when you try pressing into the strings, you can imagine your fingers being launched off the strings back into your palm. And I think that's going to make your playing feel a bit more effortless and also gives you a chance to relax before you place the next set of notes. And then the final tip I have for you is to make sure to relax whatever fingers aren't playing. I noticed this more with Mahogany Moon, which is the second piece Loraine played, that sometimes when you place, your fourth finger and pinky will kind of try to get out of the way and be tucked back into the palm. That's actually adding extra tension to your hand. So the way I like to explain it is, if you think of yourself wearing like a winter mitten, all these fingers have their own slot of fabric and then the thumb is independent. So you have to wave to someone like this. So try to imagine that as you're playing the harp. So whatever your third finger is doing in Mahogany Moon, your fourth finger and pinky are gonna follow. So they're gonna be extended out like this when it's placed. And then as soon as you pluck that third finger, your third, fourth, and pinky will all go back into the palm. So they're moving more as like a single unit. So that'll help reduce any unnecessary tension and also help your hand movement feel and look more fluid. All right, I realize I just gave you a lot of information. So here is a way to practice what we just talked about. Of course, you can practice these things in the pieces that you're working on, but sometimes it's nice just to have a really simple exercise so that you don't have to worry about notes or rhythm. You can just really focus on the things you're trying to improve. And that'll carry over into the pieces you're playing as well. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna place left hand 3, 2, 1 on the C, E, and G below middle C, and then place your right hand 3, 2, 1 on the C, E, and G an octave higher than that. And we're just gonna go through the things that we've been talking about. So before you pluck each note, I want you to really press into the strings and then close fully back into your palm. Remember, we want to press enough that you can see that string move. And then you want your fingers to land with what we call French fries instead of curly fries. Okay, so as you're doing this, just make sure, since we're not playing our fourth finger and pinky, we can just allow them to be extended out with the third finger, and they'll just close whenever the third finger does. Okay, so after you play C, E, and G, then you can just move up a note. Now we have 3, 2, 1 on D, F, A in both hands. And you can just move up note by note. You can really go as far as however many strings you have on your harp, or you can just stop when you get to the next C, E, and G in both hands. But I know that's a very simple exercise, but use it to really focus on those things. So pressing into the strings, keeping whatever fingers aren't playing relaxed, and really following through and closing fully back into your palm. If you'd like personal feedback on your playing, check out the description to find a link where you can submit your own feedback video. And you can click here to watch me give feedback to another one of our wonderful students.